Welcome to Daily Armour. Our verse today will come out of the book of Psalms, chapter number 62, and we'll be looking at verse number 5. Psalms 62 and verse number 5, and it says, "My soul, wait thou only upon God, for my expectation is from him." On the way to church this morning, I was just kind of thinking about those wilderness wanderings and just asking the Lord, what are some lessons that I can learn? Maybe what are some lessons that I have already learned, but maybe that there's some other things that I need to still yet to learn. There's always growth. There's things that come into my life and to your life, and it's sometimes it's things we've never experienced before. Every year seems to be different. I kind of like that, and where I don't want to get in a rut where everything is just so routine. But at the same time, then because things are different, then we're like, okay, well, I've never done this before. I've never had to do this before, or I've never had to figure this part out before. I've never come to this kind of an obstacle before. But what I have a tendency to do is, I remember what the Lord has done, and I think I've noticed that when I was reading and remembering reading through those wilderness wanderings, is that the Lord kept having to take them back through things because they seemed to not get it. That when you get to a situation and there's a need, when they came to water and it was bitter, and they immediately pitched a fit and wanted to go back to Egypt, wish they had never been there, and accused God of just bringing them out there to kill them and for them to die. I mean, that's a little dramatic. But because the Lord had just taken them through the Red Sea, they had, that hadn't been that long ago. And I'm asking myself, Lord, how many times do I do that? How many times do I come to an obstacle and I want to panic because I'm forgetting what you've already done? And I don't want to do that. And I hope that I don't do that as often as I used to. I looking back, I can see where I don't react the same way as I used to. And I have still got things to learn and lessons learned. It's kind of why I was thinking about those wilderness wanderings to begin with. Lord, I don't want to miss another lesson. I don't want to miss what I am supposed to do. And I kind of come to this verse this morning, and in the lesson of those wilderness wanderings, and we see the reaction when they would come to an obstacle, and it would be something they couldn't do anything about, but God led them right to those places. Therefore, if God is leading in it, then it's God's responsibility to provide those things that they were going to need. And I want to see the lesson, and there's many lessons in those teachings. There's many lessons for us to be able to apply to our life today. And I want to make sure that I'm grasping all those lessons. And so I was asking the Lord this morning on my way to church, just, Lord, what are some lessons maybe that I'm missing? Well, how am I supposed to react? And I know I'm getting better, but I don't want to. I want to get better. I want to get even better. And so the Lord brought me to this verse this morning. I'll read it again. Psalm 62, verse number 5. "My soul, wait thou only upon God." I wait for him. I wait for him. I wait to see what he's going to do. I anticipate that he's going to do something in the situation. I anticipate. Now, it may not happen immediately. It may take a little while. Depending on what the need is. I mean, the Lord knows. If I come to a place where I'm without water, I'm thinking the Lord's probably going to provide that within a few days, because our body, He knows our bodies need water. So the same goes for other situations where the need is more. It's more important than maybe another need. But then again, he shocks me when there's something in my life that I think, well, this is a need, but it's not up there vitally important. And yet he will sometimes meet that need and just shock me in the midst of it. An example that comes to mind is, I remember we were on the way to church one Sunday morning, and my excursion started overheating. And I don't remember how we even got to church that morning. I don't remember how we got there. I remember we didn't make it but about 3 miles down the road before we started having trouble. We may have had to turn around and tried to limp it back to the house. And maybe we switched and drove the truck. I don't remember. Todd was very, very upset, and I was upset because I loved my excursion. I was upset, but I was thinking, well, we have the truck. We're okay. We have the truck. It's not that big of a deal. We didn't have the money to have it fixed. But again, we have a truck. We're not without a vehicle, and in this instance, we were heading out of town the next morning to go to Hilliard to go to a Jubilee that they have up in Hilliard, Florida. And all I was thinking about was we still have the truck, we're okay. And Todd was very, very upset. But we got to church, he preached. We had a great day in the Lord, and Monday we went up to Hilliard, Florida, and we were at the Jubilee, and we were where we were supposed to be. I remember getting to see Preacher Lockie up there, and I was so grateful and so thankful to hear his voice, and to see him. Just a very, very important person in my life. Definitely that grandfather figure in my life that just so important to me. So we were up there, and during the course of that week, I wasn't thinking much about the excursion. I was just like, it'll just sit there until we can have it fixed. And I wasn't all that worried about it. And Todd comes by and tells me, he says, "You're not going to believe this." I don't remember when we were up in Hilliard. We had taken the truck in our camper, and we were staying in our camper. And Todd got a phone call, and Colby had been instructed by some of the men at the church that had got together and knew we had this need, got together and found a mechanic who could fix my vehicle. And they had Colby loaded up on. We had a trailer that would haul it, and Colby loaded it up because he was at home. He was an adult, was working, and he hauled it to the mechanic, and it was being fixed while we were not even in town. And the Lord was taking care of some things that I was like, Lord, that wasn't even like way up there on the list. That wasn't all vitally important. But sometimes he just does things for you because he can and because he loves you. And I want to always have that kind of reaction where I'm just going to wait, and I'm not going to panic. And I want to always be that way. And I haven't always been that way. But lessons like that is why that I can say my soul waits for him. My soul is just going to wait and see what he does, because so many times he shocks me and he amazes me. And I am still, Todd made me sell the excursion. It's been a little over a year ago, I guess. And I will never forget what the Lord did to provide, me a vehicle. It wasn't that big of a deal if I got stranded. Todd still had something to drive. But the Lord thought it was a big deal enough to have it taken care of. And I'm just so thankful, and I'm just so grateful. And he is so good to me. And that just helps me to see that when the obstacles come, just to be patient and wait. And some of them are horrible, and some of them are scary, and some of them we want to worry, but we can't because we're waiting. And as we're waiting, I want to anticipate. I want to have an expectation that the Lord is going to show up in the situation. And I can say that because he has shown up in my past experiences. Therefore, whatever's coming in the future, I expect for the Lord to be there and to help and to provide, and whatever the need might be. I challenge you to read this whole psalm. It is so good. If we look at verse 1, it says, "Truly my soul waiteth upon God. From him cometh my salvation." Everything rests in him. He's got me. I'm in him, but I don't have any part in it. I'm not hanging on. He's got me. I don't have to hang on. And I'm so thankful, and I'm so grateful for that. So whatever your obstacle is, whatever your situation is, wait on the Lord and be thankful for what you do have. Be thankful for those times when he came through for you in the past, and anticipate that he's going to do it again. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you again soon.